morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Carolyn Abrams, and I'm with the Caltrans Office of Race and Equity. To kick us off today, I'm going to turn it over to Leah Boudou, who is the District 4 Deputy Director of Maintenance. Go ahead, Leah.
This meeting is being recorded.
I wanted to welcome everyone here on behalf of District 4 to be a part of this ongoing conversation. We speak a lot about equity, and here's an opportunity for us to really talk about what it means. It's interesting, maybe about 3 years ago, we started this conversation, and at the time we were told that maintenance will have their own presentation, and this is it. There's been a lot of thought and intentional work going in leading up to this opportunity, and I hope that you all kind of walk away inspired and have a greater understanding about what equity means for us here in Caltrans. One of the things that I think about when I think about maintenance is that I might be dating myself here, but I don't know if anybody remembers watching Schoolhouse Rock when we were a kid, and there was an action. They were explaining verbs, right? And I feel like maintenance is like the action verb in Caltrans, right? Here are the words that do things, we make things happen, we affect change. And when we talk about equity in our engagement in equity, maintenance is a huge force in making that happen. Now, we speak about equity with our external partners a lot, and I think this presentation today will show a full 360. It's not just external, it's internal, right? There are lots of questions that maintenance staff have in terms of equity. What does it mean to me? What does it mean for everyone else? So today is an opportunity to hear that, and I'm so happy that we have this wonderful group of panelists who are willing to speak to us, because I believe we've got 4 more waiting in the wings virtually ready to speak to you. So just know that we've kind of tried to hit all angles, but this is just a spark. This is just the beginning of the conversation. There'll be a subsequent conversation leading following it, and just to take a little pressure off of what today is going to bring you, right? I wanted to also really thank District Director Mel Swansea, right? I know she spent time going through various regions and sitting and talking with folks in the field. She's come to me with the challenge. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself properly. I'm the maintenance deputy, Leah Boudou. And anyway, her challenge to me is how do we retain, how do we hire, how do we inspire maintenance, right? And so this is a part of it. So thank you for encouraging this and inspiring this group. Thank you to the District 4 Equity Task Force and all these panelists that have put some time into putting this program together. And so with that, I just wanted to introduce our director, Nina Eltwanzi.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you all for being here. It's a pleasure to be with all of you, and I really mean it from the bottom of my heart. I think you are the heart and soul of this organization. And often, I'm a bit biased, I have to admit that. To start with, I started my career in maintenance in District 7. So I have a very soft spot for all maintenance workers throughout the state. You are the heart and soul of this organization because you are the face of the organization. People out there on the freeways when they're driving, they only see what you do. They don't feel or see a lot of the other things that are happening behind the scenes that are happening in the office. What you do and what you don't do is really what makes us or break us out there. And we often get compliments because people notice what you do as soon as you do it. So I want to start off by saying thank you. Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for your commitment. We talk often about our mission, vision, and goals, And our mission is to provide a safe and reliable transportation network that serves all people and respects the environment. When we talk about District 4, we really are committed to the goal of cultivating excellence. And cultivating excellence meaning that all our staff are included in this mission. We need to make sure that we are providing you with the opportunities that you need to be provided with. We want to make sure that you are growing in your careers. We want to make sure that you're included in our workforce and that you're heard and that everything that concerns you makes it all the way to the top so that we can address it as much as feasible. Today, I want to start by thanking everybody that's out here, our panelists for taking the time to be here,
Our IT folks who just fixed the echo problem for us, thank you. I want to thank our executive management from District 4 that are also here today. But really, we're focusing today on equity and meetings. The event is centered around the 3 E's, which is engage, educate, and execute. In Caltrans, we are committed to being the people first organization. What does that mean? What does people first mean? We need to understand what that means really well. We talk about the people that we serve, our commitment to make things right for all of them. We talk about also important, very important, the people that work with us. This 3. So when we talk about people first, we want to make sure that we're giving everybody the tools that they need to grow and to thrive and to be independent in this work. So with that, I really would like to kick this off. And again, thank you for being here. We're here to listen to you. We're here to hear what you have to say. So please feel free to ask questions. Feel free to, if you're not able to answer all your questions today, we are going to still answering that even after today. And as I said, this is just the beginning. This conversation needs to continue. So with that said, again, thank you everyone, and I will turn it to Andrea. Thank you.
Good morning, Megan. I'm tapped on a few of you, so I got your names. I got to call you. I couldn't help you all. But thank you for being here. It's a wonderful thing to see the sea of orange. As Dina said, you're the face of our organization, and we appreciate what you do. I want to welcome everyone here to the 3 E's of equity.
This effort was designed inclusive for you from your Deputy Director, Leah Badou, being a champion in this space. My name is Andrea Pugh. I've met many of you at the door just as a greeting. I'm the Equity Program Manager here in District 4, so anytime you want to reach out to me, go to d4equity.gov and your questions will be answered. My position, I champion the position at the helm. I'm a transformational leader, shifting the culture and a catalyst for change while serving our internal and external communities. I like to take a moment this morning just to kind of talk about an uplifting quote, one stated by our Secretary Toast Safashaki. We are a people-based organization, not an infrastructure organization. Going to Dina's point, people first. In championing that people first culture in concert with District 4's core goals, values, plans, and strategic imperatives, equity engagement layers within the landscape of the 3E model. The 3E model is a leverage space to engage in a live for equitable communication and collaboration. We want to make sure that we're communicating effectively with y'all in the equitable space, but also collaboration. It takes for us all to lock arms at whatever level. Educate, cultivate awareness in the drive toward equitable solutions. Execute a plan by reinvesting in yourself with insights and information gained that best support your societal health and overall well-being. I'm going to take a pause right now and move the needle forward and introduce you to our noteworthy panelists who are here today, both virtually and live. Zalum, I'm going to go ahead and kick it off with you. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lama Valgrasonia, and I am overseeing the Curriculum Program and happy to be here.
Thank you so much.
Just have them go next in the virtual thing.
So for our panelists that are virtual, if you all could just run through who's next online. Christine,
I'm looking at Division Chief and Safety Management Services. I oversee the offices of our driver certification, substance testing, discipline services, and labor relations. Christina?
Christina Hashimoto, I'm the office chief over talent acquisition. Deanna.
Good morning, I'm Dina Amello, I'm the office chief over discipline for the district level, EEO and safety.
Wonderful, thank you. And if I could have the panelists that are here in person introduce themselves.
Good morning, my name is Tom Hicks. I'm Assistant Division Chief with Human Resources. I'm over our Learning and Development Office, our Talent Management, and our statewide HR programs.
Good morning, I'm Nicholas Singh. I'm the Acting Assistant Division Chief in Human Resources over exams and recruitment. When I'm not doing that, I am the District 4 Office Chief in External Affairs over a couple of things. Legislative affairs. among other things, depends on the day of the week.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I am Regina Hunter. I am the branch chief for District 4 Office of Public Affairs and Customer Engagement. And my team and I serve as a conduit between the public and maintenance. So each and every day, we are taking in those CSRs, and I know I have probably run across some of you in email and probably by phone call, following up on things and making sure that we are assigning those CSRs and responding to them in an equitable manner. So thank you for allowing me to be on your panel.
Thank you to all of our panelists that are here today. And again, thank you for everyone that's here in person, as well as those of us that are joining virtually. Again, my name is Carolyn Abrams, and I'll be facilitating today's session. I wanted to let everyone know that today is really structured as a listening session, and that's intentional so that we can gather questions from maintenance staff, and then our panelists that are here, as well as our staff, will have time to prepare very robust answers for you that will be shared at our second session early next year. I will flag that if a question arises that has a very straightforward response and one of our panelists wants to take it, I encourage them to do so. But at the end of today, not all of the questions will be answered, but just know that we're taking note of all of them. And then our second session will really be intended to respond to those questions in full. And if we determine that there are folks missing from other divisions that would be best equipped to respond to these questions, we will make sure that they are on our panel for the second session as well. I also want to flag that at the beginning of today's session, we are highlighting some key questions that have come up at prior town halls or equity sessions from maintenance staff. And we want to make sure that we have an opportunity for our panelists to respond to those questions today, since they are recurring and more of these hot button issues. So we have time set aside for that. And at the end of today, if we do not have time to gather all of your questions, as it was mentioned before, we have our Ask for Maintenance email address, which we will be monitoring and gathering questions through there as well. So with that, I'm going to start off with the questions that have been coming up at prior events, and we have some panelists assigned to respond to these questions. And then from there, we'll turn it over to the folks that are in the room to ask questions, and we'll be toggling back and forth between in-person and virtual participants. Okay, so our first question that has come up frequently, I'm going to address to Tom, and it reads, Caltrans maintenance crews are often overlooked. This is a huge concern within our organization. In regard to promotional opportunities and hiring details, as well as events that are happening at the district office, how can D4 field maintenance staff be included in upward mobility and career coaching opportunities?
Do you want to answer?
It's all you, Tom.
All right. Good morning, everyone. first of all, I want to say, although a few panelists are not here in person today, they would have loved to have been here if their schedules permitted. I'm very happy to be here, get to meet everyone. I got to talk to some of the crews as you all got in today. So, in the question in regards to upward mobility and career coaching and opportunities that we have, we're always looking for how we can bring more to and integrate more, and I like to say include maintenance in the programs that we have. When I'm out here looking around, I see familiar faces. I was out at our Leadership Development Academy last week, right? And I see some familiar faces, and one of the things that we are asking as Human Resources with our Learning and Development Office, with our Career Development Program, is we're reaching out to you all as the professionals in the occupation, saying how and what is it that you need, how do we include you more, how do we build out our programs so that they're better formatted to be inclusive of maintenance and feel that they are also built for maintenance. So in regards to our upward mobility program, we tested our first pilot. We have a brand new program, and we test piloted that in District 4 earlier this year. I've spoken with the team, and we're actually doing our first upward mobility program for the Division of Maintenance in District 4, first quarter of 2023. So I want to let you all know we appreciate you bringing this forward, and we're going to partner with you and work for you. Upward mobility in our career development program is for everyone, including all of maintenance. But we also know that we need to build it out and structure it more around your needs and your concerns. So again, I want to just emphasize, please, anyone that has any ideas when we come and we work with you, or if you can share with us via any of our modes of communication, email me directly. I would love to hear from you all on what it is that you're needing, what are your wants, so we can better help facilitate that for you, because you are a huge part of the organization.
Thank you, Tom. The second question is also for Tom, so we'll just keep you on the mic. When pairing mentees and mentors within the Caltrans mentoring program, are diverse and equitable practices embedded in the matching process, such as gender, race, and ethnicity?
Okay, so first, with a show of hands, who in here has been in the mentorship program? Who has been a mentee? Who has been a mentor? Okay, so we got about 5. Okay, what I want to tell you is I called the team this morning. Right now, if you guys don't know, we just started season 8 of our mentorship program at Caltrans. And we have now extended that out 2 more weeks because I want to make sure that we get some of you into that mentorship program. First of all, you guys even know what the mentorship program is? No? Okay, well, lucky Nicholas is here. No, our mentorship program is where you get paired up, and we'll talk a little bit about the pairing, but it's where you get paired up with someone within the organization that has the experience and or knowledge or wants to share and invest in you, right, to help you as you build in your career and develop in your career. So what happens during the mentor program is you're actually paired up with an individual, and each month you meet with them for about an hour or 2. Some mentors and mentees meet more than that. And we go over topics that are very important in regards to what we see here at Caltrans, the competencies that are needed, career trajectory. Just ask and find out and kind of build yourself up, plus start networking, right? And so it's a great program to get introduced to someone and help build yourself in your career. As far as pairing in the mentorship program, you know, we do not get into all the questions of gender and race and ethnicity. What we're really looking for is in regards to your career development. So what we want to know is there a part of the organization that you're interested in, right? Is there an occupational trade that you're interested in? Is there a certain career path that you're interested in? Is there someone that you've met in the organization, right? Where you said, you know what, I would like to learn some more about this person. Maybe you've heard someone speak, maybe you've seen someone perform, maybe you met them before, and you'd like, I would like to know more about this individual, and you can even elect them to be a mentor for you. So as far as what we do is we collect all your information because all you're going to get into the program, right? And we take that information and then we have individuals like Dina over there, right? Who's going to be a mentor in the program. And we look for someone that pairs up with your interests, okay, what you're wanting to do, and then we pair you with that individual, you get introduced, and you guys have a great, 8-month course that you go through, and you get a lot of questions and career development opportunities. So when it comes to, like I say, the mentorship program, it's not so much questions of, what gender, what ethnicity type of things is what are you looking for? So for example, if you're looking for women in women in transportation, if you're looking for, hey, I'd like to know more about maybe information technology, maybe I'd like to know more about our civil rights department, maybe I'm looking for someone that is a maintenance manager, because that's the next step in my career and I want to kind of learn more about that. Those are the things that we're looking for, and then we pair you that way.
Tom, can I add something really quick to that? Because I think it's an important point for everybody to know. If there's somebody in the organization that you think you want to be mentored by, you can request also that person, and the program would reach out to them and would let them know that somebody requested them by name to be their mentor. And if they would like to participate, then they would participate and they would carry on with that.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, and I'm just going to, they told me that I have to say everything on the mic, so the audience can hear too.
Okay.
And so what she was saying is, if there's someone that you wanted to ask or request as a mentor, right, then you can go ahead and ask through this program. We actually ask you, right? So watch, we'll do it like this. This is the little form that comes up, right? It asks you a few questions, and it gets to, who in here wants to be my mentee? Right, what's your name?
Saran Norman.
Say again?
Saran Norman.
Okay, you're my mentee for the upcoming season.
No, I'm for real though.
Yeah. It's Tom. The last name is Hicks, Hicks, right?
Yeah.
And my phone number is 916. No, I'll give you all the info afterwards. But you're going to be my mentee for season 8.
I can get the paycheck too, from being your mentor?
Intern. Mentee programs are all about what we share.
That's priceless.
You're going to be full. You're going to be full after we're done. But no, that's as simple as it is. And yes, we will work together. We're going to do the mentorship program together. But I'm serious. Sometimes the hardest thing in doing a mentorship program or career development is asking someone else to help you and to help you develop and to answer questions. It's a weird thing, especially going to a stranger. I mean, not for you. You are good with it, but sometimes it's hard to go to a stranger and say, hey, I'd like to work with you. I'd like to discuss some things with you. I'd like to share a little bit of me with you because this is where I want to be, right? But that's the hardest step to take, but what you get in return is pretty priceless. So, all right.
Awesome, thank you, Tom.
Yep.
So I'm going to direct these next 2 questions to Bud, who's participating virtually. So Bud, the first question is, are there plans to examine if Caltrans provides a living wage for all Caltrans employees? Retaining a diverse workforce in the department has been difficult because the pay is much lower than regional partners.
All right then. First off, I would like to mention that this is the first time I've ever seen, heard, been invited to a panel like this in any district. So kudos to E4 for doing this amazing job. Your union handles pay, right? The union goes and approaches Caltrans and finance, and they're the ones who really address your pay issues, not Caltrans specifically. But I do want to say that right now in bargaining unit 12, the relations, you have excellent leaders in your union right now. It's probably the best relations that Caltrans has ever had with them. And in 2020, that was very apparent when we looked at the bargaining unit agreement. They saw one of the largest increases, not only of and differentials and all those things that are existing in the contract that you'd like to see better. But that is definitely an issue that goes between the union and Cal HR. And when I say Cal HR, I gotta be specific, that's not Caltrans HR, that's the California Department of Human Resources.
Great, thank you so much, Bud. And I'm going to direct the second question to you as well, so hang tight. This question reads, do maintenance employees have the opportunity to telework similar to office staff? We want to ensure that Caltrans leadership is being equitable in their decisions about remote work.
Absolutely is the answer. All employees that have job duties are conducive to telework and request telework and have it be approved. That includes maintenance, our other field staff in construction and engineering, all our divisions. The reason you don't see a lot of maintenance employees, for instance, teleworking is because the job duties aren't conducive to telework. For example, until we can get drones to fly out and fill a pothole, I don't think anyone's going to be able to do that. Plus, you need a drone license on top of it to be able to do that. But it does sound fun and something to look forward to in the future. But as you can see, not everybody's job duties are like that. In my offices, we get a lot of mail in and we send a lot of mail out. That means the person that handles those duties has to be in office. They don't have an opportunity to telework because their duties just aren't conducive to that. But as time goes on, I can see opportunities maybe coming up, like my drone example, where maintenance employees could have duties that we would look at and say, oh yeah, you could telework and do those things.
Great, thank you, Bud. And then for this final question, I believe both Christina and Nicholas were going to respond. The question reads, can the Division of Equipment get assistance with recruitment and advertising for vacant positions? There's a wide gap in this area.
Thank you. So we can definitely work with your hiring team to create innovative recruitment solutions, which would include job postings like on Indeed or Monster, creating marketing materials like flyers or handouts, and then reaching out to the community. So partnering with workforce development boards, trade schools, local community colleges, things like that. We can also help you tell the story about Caltrans and why we're an employer of choice by highlighting things like our benefits, retirement plans, paid leave, upward mobility. All of those things are reasons why someone would want to come work for us. And then you can reach out to either myself or Nicholas, and our team is ready to assist.
Yes, Christina is heading up the new recruitment unit, and as we develop that unit, we'll have more opportunity to do more extensive outreach to different areas, different schools, different states. So yeah, definitely we'll be able to help out with the Division of Equipment. I know that hers for heavy equipment mechanics, amongst other things. So yeah, we're willing to help out and we can.
Thank you both, Christina and Nicholas. So that concludes our set of questions that we've been hearing come up over and over. And now we're going to shift gears a little bit to folks in the room. If anybody has any questions that you want to address to our panelists here today, we have both Mika and Deneen that have microphones. So if you raise your hand, they will hand you a microphone. You can ask your question. If it's a straightforward response that our panelists can provide in real time, we are happy to do that. If it's a question that needs a little bit more research or a more robust answer, we'll take that down for the second session. So we'll turn it over to folks in the room first before pivoting to folks that are online. Any takers?
Come on.
This week we celebrate.
Be sure you have
We gotta
questions, don't be shy. I'm here to listen to you today.
And remember, I greeted a few of you at the door, so if I don't see those hands raised, I'm gonna come and get you.
Yeah, let's start with the back row and work our way forward. Yeah, that's how I like to do it.
All right, we have a question there.
Okay. Okay, so thank you for joining us today. today. So what is your name and your question?
My name is John Pointer. Everybody here call me Doc, so I'm Doc working for Doc. Here you go. I'm new here, fairly new here, but one of my questions was as far as equipment, like our clothing and stuff like that. Is there any kind of what should I say? I mean, are we still backdated with like our clothes and stuff like that? Because I haven't received like everything that I feel like, you know, comes with the new job. So that was my question about clothes and stuff like that. Yeah, that's it. Clothes.
So, just because I think we're supposed to repeat the question, right? So the question was.
So my clothes. My question is: are we still backdated for PPE and clothes and stuff like that, or is that something that's going to be coming in more and more?
Okay, so we're asking if we're still backdated with the PPE, so you guys can receive all of the equipment that you guys are supposed to be getting. Is that correct?
Yeah, because I was really excited to get most of my coats and all the stuff that comes with it. You feel good, you work good, and all that.
Yeah, getting the car without the keys doesn't work,
yeah,
right?
Man. So I guess that's the question I have.
Okay. Well, I can't answer that, but no, but. I don't know. Is that something that anyone in here can answer?
Nobody? Nobody, yeah. Wow. We'll get back to you on that. Next session. The next session.
Well, John, as mentioned before, we're coining this as a listening session. When we talk about the E is to engage and do equitable listening. So we hear you. And that's the main thing. And so what that does, we want to make sure we give you an answer that's transparent and organic. And so with that, your question is being housed, and it will be answered in the next session. So we got it. We hear you. You will have an answer. So thank you. I appreciate you for speaking up.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
And Andrea, I wanted to add too that Caltrans is a huge universe to make this machine run. And so one of the things that I will say today too is if it doesn't get answered, like Andrea says, we'll get back to you, we'll research it. I've been around for 15 years and I still don't know all the intricacies of everything in this organization. So just know that, ask those questions so we can get the answers for you.
Hey, can I throw in really quick? So I ordered some stuff too, and I talked to the shop, and they said they are slowly getting stuff in, that the supply chain is still a little wonky with the pandemic, but hopefully we will get our supplies needed soon. So that is kind of it. They are working on it, the shop.
Come on here.
Hi, great to have you here today. Let me have your name and your question.
How you doing? My name is Robert Holt. I have a question. Oftentimes I've noticed that as far as promotions go, you don't get trained for the job until you get it. So are there things, plans for putting things in place for if I want to be a lead worker and before I become a lead worker, I'm learning. I've expressed it. I may even be on the list for interview to start being trained before I get the job. And maybe when I get the job, I'll hit the ground running instead of learning once I get it.
Thank you for that question. Do any of our panelists here today want to respond to that? If not, we can find it. Okay.
Mentorship.
No. You sure you don't want to go, Carol?
You know what? You already have the mic, so.
Hey, so this is honestly, this is a great question, outstanding question. I love this question. So I myself inherited our learning and development office and our career development program during the pandemic. And in doing that, a lot of it was just figuring out how to change or shift the way that we do things to be able to continue to move forward, right? With the big changes that came about due to that. My goal for 2023, and right now what I've been working on, is how do we integrate maintenance into these type of things and develop out our career development with maintenance. It's a huge want and desire for me. In fact, I'm out there at the Leadership Development Academy out at Meta, to meet with the leaders in maintenance and speak with them and talk to them about what their needs are. I have maintenance calling me up and talking to me, and I'll tell you guys, if you ask to talk to maintenance, I don't know if Brandon's out here from Petaluma, but when you call and you ask to talk to maintenance, and you say, hey, yeah, we'd love to have a meeting to talk, they're gonna set it up for like 4:30 in the morning. Okay? So be careful what you ask for, right? No, but we want to know and we want to work with you. So what I want to say in regards to your question, yes, we identified that and we want to build it into all of our leadership and development programs. And so over the next year, what I want to do is I want to have my teams out meeting with you, working with you, finding out from you, I'm talking about the boots on the ground, right? What the needs are so we can actually build those out and get the resources for them. So you guys will see a lot of me out in the regions, out in the yards with the teams, talking and coming out to do not only training with you, but getting insight on how we provide better training for you.
Thank you so much. Do we have another question?
Yes, thank you. So your name?
Henry Castro. Hi, good morning, mate. Okay. I've been here for almost a year now, and I'm a tree crew down here. Our crew's been decimated. We only got like 2 guys up there now on the field. We're low on equipment, on trucks, vehicles that we need. We're always getting the old ones, and I see everybody else getting some good ones, and asking for 6 packs. And every time we get old trucks, things that are just broken, and we're like, man, this is over nothing. And my question came to, can we get a truck? We're getting a lot done, but we can get more done if we had the right vehicle. You know, we had a heavy equipment operator, but they beat. They'll just make sound. Like, we need trucks.
Pipe dream, pipe dream.
The Tesla's back.
That'll be it.
Any takers from the panelists before we take another question? If not, we can flag that one for the next session. Okay.
Hey, Carolyn, I have another question here. Please state your name and
How y'all doing? My name is Derek Brown. I work for the maintenance crew. I've been working here since December 2nd of last year, and I've quite seen a lot, right? I've seen a lot of them at Caltrans. And I'm wondering, like before I got here, about hazard pay. It would be nice if one of you higher-ups would come out there and really see what we do, versus like what we experience out there as in body fragments and stuff like that. We're not trained on none of this stuff. None of it. But yet we're the first ones to respond to something like that. And I'm trying to figure out where's the hazard pay, and also what it does create amongst the person, like PTSD, we've seen stuff like that. What do y'all have for us in that department?
Thank you, Derek. Carolyn, I think that was a multi-layered question, and I think it can be answered in several layers. I think Bud may be able to kind of touch about the pay, and then also resources that's available from an EAP lens, but also some of the things I can share with what's going on before external affairs when we lift things up like that. So maybe start with Bud.
Yeah, absolutely. Bud, do you want to take a stab at part of that question?
And it's a little difficult to hear when they're asking the question, so if you could repeat the part that you want me to answer, I'm happy to tackle that.
Absolutely, yeah, sorry about that, Bud. So I believe that, Derek, do you want to just go ahead?
I said, what do you guys have for us as in hazard pay and stuff like that, or a supervisor or a bigger higher up person coming out to really see what we do, so y'all can inquire that into what we need out there. And we need more trucks also. We need more trucks. We got big trucks, we don't have small trucks, and that's an issue amongst my crews. We need more trucks.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna step in really fast. When they ask the question, if you guys can kind of repeat it, they are gonna hear you guys over them. So you guys kind of repeat them. So it's kind of gonna be a mimic thing. You're gonna ask and then you're gonna repeat so they can hear. There we go.
Perfect. So I believe what Derek was asking about, and but for the purposes of responding to this question, is primarily about hazard pay and whether that's available to maintenance workers.
Yeah, no, thank you. I did catch the second time around, except the truck sounded like drugs. And so my head is correctly. So when it comes to hazard pay, again, point back to the unions who negotiate pay, I know that they've been really lobbying and advocating strongly for the hazard pay with CalHR. Because there was some federal funding that was available for that. I do not know where those conversations are currently. But again, it is absolutely recognized. And I know that your union would also like to have some of the people at CalHR come visit Caltrans and be right there on the highway and experience that. I just recently met with Sergeant Unit 12 and showed them we have these virtual goggles at our public affairs office and headquarters. They show basically a day in a guardrail crew and setting the cones and doing all those duties right there next to a live lane of traffic. And when you watch that with those virtual goggles, it's very impactful. And whereas that one is not the same as actually physically being out there on the highway, it's a step in the right direction to really get that point across as to how important and hazardous potentially that your work is out there. We also work with Teresa Brown at Meta on the close calls that occur, and we've got the photos and all that stuff. These are the things that Caltrans can help with, and when the union requests these things from us, we can gather these documents and items and provide them to them so that they can make that compelling argument for your pay with CalHR.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Bud. And Derek, if there were levels of that question that were not answered here today, we have that noted for the second session.
And
So
Carolyn, I can take a layer of that question.
Of course,
and I
thank you, Andrea.
pass it to Tom because I think he did kind of emphasize getting on boots on the ground and going to see what's happening from a training to Derek's point. But Derek, I just want to ask within District 4 and just most recently within the Division of External Affairs, and I think we can move the needle forward with this because you said something key. I think our overall well-being and societal health is key because you mentioned PTSD and what you see. So we take that very serious. One of the things we're championing out of the Equity Office is a commitment to mental health, and that's in alliance with Governor Gavin Newsom's initiative around that. And I say that one of the things that was held at our meeting this past week was to have an EAP overview. A lot of times people don't know the resources is what's there. And so the EAP from EEO and the Office of Health and Safety, I came in and did a presentation, which is done through Ricardo Hernandez. And Dina, make me honest with this. And Dina Bello is in the, as a served as a panelist. Dina, is that something that we can move the needle forward to maybe come out to some of the sites and host an EAP session around mental well-being and mental health for the maintenance divisions? Dina, can you talk to that?
Yes, this is Dina. Hi. Yeah, absolutely. We can have Ricardo come out and do training for all employees. We can do it in smaller groups per crew, so that way they get a little bit more hands-on, one-on-one with Ricardo and have questions answered. We also have, you mentioned, as you said earlier, PTSD. We also have Magellan that can come out and do counseling for employees who've seen things in the field. We have peer diffusing that can come out if you guys were witnesses to something that was traumatic of an experience for you. We have 2 other resources that could help you with peer diffusing and come and do a counseling session with you one-on-one or in a smaller group. And also EAP Magellan will send counselors out to do counseling sessions, and you have the opportunity to reach out to them on your home as well for private sessions.
Thank you, Dina, for connecting the dots with that. But again, mental health is real when we talk about that. So again, we want to talk about your societal health and your overall well-being. District 4 is really moving the needle to support that. So Derek, you're not by yourself, and I'm very intentional about saying that statement. Another thing that you kind of addressed about, just moving things up forward to your leadership. One of the things I'm working closely with Leah with is to continue to leave the Ask for maintenance email box available. So questions may just come in that you may not think about today, or it could be something that comes up in 6 months from now. And then she's got a team together for maintenance, but also someone from my equity staff will be helping maintain that box. There will be several layers of how you can send that, because we're very aware of the access that the maintenance staff have. You might not be sitting at an email, so these things can be done through your phone, through a QR code, or what have you. So IT, maintenance, and the equity program will be working closely with that. So again, thank you for raising that. I'll go ahead and pass it to you, Tom, and we'll go move forward. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you, Eric, that you brought that up, and I'm glad we covered the part about the EAP and the services that we had out there, because a lot of times we don't think about using those, and we don't feel that we need them, and they're very beneficial for a whole array of things, so please make sure you use those. But to the other thing that you had brought up there, I agree with you 100% in regards to what you see out there in the daily, what you experience out there in the daily. How can I help to build out our leadership programs, our development programs, if we're not out there getting to learn from you and experience with you what it's like at maintenance? So like I say, I will definitely be out there over the course of the next year. And I hope to be working right alongside you guys for a period of time so that we can really learn and see, and then bring that back to a place where we can build out a program that's really inclusive of maintenance.
Thank you, Tom, Andrea, and Bud for responding to that question. I want to take one more question from the folks in the room before we shift gears to any of our virtual participants, and then time allowing, we'll shift back to folks here in the room.
Hello, my name is Herb Douglas, and I'm out the paint yard here at Oakland, Burma. So my question for you guys is from a financial aspect from Caltrans, right? Is there any plans in the future to see how you're going to stay competitive in this field? Because I've seen, like, when I speak to colleagues or when I speak to other people, it's a lot of people that live in this state that can't afford to live in this state. And there's a lot of people that's currently being employed by Caltrans right now that are currently homeless. And so I just wanted to know, is there any plans or any measures that's going to be in effect to keep you guys at a competitive rate with the rest of the market, instead of people receiving certain training at Caltrans and divvying off to other employers so they can further themselves in their careers?
Great, thank you so much for that question. And for the folks online, just to repeat that for clarity, the question is about competitive pay and whether or not Caltrans is keeping up with the cost of living here in California, so that when folks receive training at Caltrans, they're not then moving elsewhere. If any of our panelists feel inclined to respond.
Well, I'm going to assume that it's about pay, but going to talk about it again. And I don't want to sound like a broken record here by saying it's negotiated by the union, but that's truly what it is in this scenario, is negotiated by the union. However, I would like to chime in with how can you all help? How can you help your own cause in these types of things? Going to your union and posing a statement like, hey, the county pays more. When am I going to get paid like the county pays, or like Daisy Tree pays, something like that? Provide your union with where you saw that job at. Provide the union with some more data, information as to where you saw that and where you got that information, because it's very helpful for them to be able to utilize that data. When they go to county charge, it's not just about asking for more money, it's showing why we need that money, why it is a critical need, how we're losing people, where they're going, all those types of things. So again, if the union matters to negotiate pay, but that's one way that you could also make an impact.
Thank you so much, Bud. Appreciate that. Do we have, I want to make sure that the folks virtually participating also have a chance to ask questions as well. So we have Juan and Bella who are monitoring the chat, as well as tracking, any folks that have their hands raised. So Juan and Bella, do we have any questions from the virtual participants?
Yes, we have one question from Samson. The question is, are there any plans to bring back hands-on equipment training at Meta? But you had given an answer on the past. Would you like to elaborate on that, Bud?
Yeah, so a little piece that my offices deal with as far as the meta training involves when we've got classifications that aren't required to have a Class A license, but do want to further their development, like they've got a permit or something like that, and they want to start utilizing that equipment. We do have a process now, and we've been working with G7 with their mini meta to allow employees to get into the random drug testing pool and utilize that Class A license to do the training. Now, of course, down in G7, it's first come, first served basis. They've got a big lineup. I'm not sure currently what Meta up NorCal is doing. I've not worked with them specifically on that, but we are definitely looking for opportunities to get those folks behind the wheel that have those Class A permits or licenses, and that way we can further develop them and they can get that experience.
Thank you, Bud. Juan, do we have additional questions from the folks online?
I do not have any additional questions or any hands raised virtually, so I'll probably back if you would like to address any of your past questions on this.
Perfect. Thank you, Juan. Do we have other questions from folks in the room?
My name is David Hasslinger. Wait, it's a long ask question. So one of the issues that we have on in maintenance is so many vacant positions on the crew, and I know we kind of talked about hiring outside and everything, but there's so many people that want to try to get to a different yard or something like that, and the posting bids just aren't coming out. So we have supervisors that are promoting to superintendents and then leaving vacant positions there, and Caltrans is no longer doing the acting positions anymore. So since, like in my case, my supervisor was promoted to superintendent, and then since then they've kind of been having me do the lead worker stuff, not giving any credit for it because there's no acting positions anymore, and no posted bids have come out for it. There's not been any job openings posted on Cal Careers or anything like that. So people want to move up and want to move around and everything, but I just don't understand kind of what the holdup is on it. Having vacant positions for years on end.
So just for everyone's benefit online, the question is around vacant positions on these crews not being filled, and it sounds like Caltrans is no longer doing these acting positions, and people want to move up, they're getting promoted, but that leaves these vacancies that aren't being filled. Do any of our panelists want to respond today, or should we flag this question for next time?
We might need to flag this one for further discussion, but we can definitely help with the recruitment part, filling those vacancies. The problem is we need to work with maintenance management to see if those vacancies have been posted or if they're in the process of being posted or what the holdup is. So yeah, we're going to definitely have to get back to that.
Is that a Caltrans policy with the acting? Like why aren't you guys doing acting supervisors?
I have no idea why they're not doing acting positions, but when I asked, I was told by maintenance manager they're no longer doing acting positions.
Okay.
So when you talk to the union says that they're still doing it, but the maintenance manager is saying they're not. So it's kind of hard to get trained. I don't have access to some stuff because I'm not actually a lead worker. And it's kind of hard to get the training, do on-the-job training, or whatever.
That should be the way.
Yeah, so Dave, right? David?
Yes.
Yeah, it's news to me that there is no active positions. So let me check into that because I'm not aware of anything that precludes us from having active positions. So we'll definitely take that as an action item. Let's find out what's going on there. Why are you not offering active positions?
They're posting temporary positions, but they're posting temporary positions every once in a while, but I mean, an acting position is just, put in the paperwork and then you can do it. Now we're waiting on somebody to put a posting out for a temporary position. It's taking just as long as the posted bids or anything else. So
Temporary positions are supposed to be fairly quickly, a few days for the process, but let's find out more about that. And we'll get back to you guys on this sooner than our next.
question.
Hi, this is Sarah from Caltrans. We have one question.
Sorry, Bella, 1 second. I'm going to let Leah also respond really quick, and then we'll turn it over to the students.
So I guess it's more to add nuance to the question for our family. So that is the way acting assignments are handled now, right? Is that we have to issue it through the temporary assignment because it has to be a competitive process. So the fact that this new temporary assignment process takes a bit longer, it seems like that's what we're doing. So I guess that's a little nuance to the question. So acting assignments have not been tossed out. It's just a new process to get to that.
really long process.
Thank you for adding that later. We appreciate it. It sounded like, Bella, we had a question from one of the participants online.
Correct. The question is from Anthony Gary. His question is, California is going green, correct? How does Caltrans plan to incorporate electric vehicles when most of the fleets, like shadows, dump trucks, own trucks, and diesel?
Thank you for that question. So for the folks in the room, if you didn't hear it clearly, the question is around California going green, so to speak. And the question is asking about the trucks and equipment that we use at Caltrans and what the plan is for moving to more electric vehicles. This might be a question we need to plan for the second session.
Totally not going to happen. 8 hours out there with an electric vehicle running.
So
That's not
quickly on that, and actually this is a more to follow, the questions about equipment, I think in a month or so, we'll be having a meeting with the Division of Equipment who will share with us their plan for the fleet. So right now, I know we've been receiving sedans, and there's a plan for us to receive some heavy-duty equipment, but that's
In the future.
right? So they're still testing out the heavy fleet, seeing what is the appropriate thing. I mean, who wants a sleeper, they can come and drive for like 50 miles and then we have to charge them. So we're still working through those things, definitely a challenge, but there are really, we have mandates to go to a green fleet. So the state of California, our division, their vision is to be the greenest fleet in the whole United States, right? So that's the path we're on. There are a lot of people who have put a lot of time into figuring this thing out, but there are large questions in regards to our maintenance fleet, right? But we're not the only users of all of the equipment, so there are other ways that we can start to try to process. Maybe calling on a pilot to do something, but so more to follow. We are following up with the Division of Equipment so that they can lay out the plan and what it needs to. More importantly for me is to make sure everyone is trained up to use this equipment. Because when it comes, it's going to come with different ways that we interface with it. One of the selling features they post for us is that the maintenance is less on the electric.
Thank you, Leah. Do we have, sorry, I'm going to pause for the questions in the room. Bella, were there additional questions from the virtual participants?
No, we do not have any other questions coming in so far.
Okay, perfect. Okay, the floor is back open for folks in the room. Question in the back.
Hi, we have another question in here. So please, could you state your name and your question?
Yep. CC Norman. I'm Tom's mentee, by the way. I guess my question are more so wondering, right, is we've heard it in this room a few times, and that's just like, with training. I think the word that's not being utilized is cross-utilization. So someone's on a tree crew, I'm not expecting them to know how to put out a closure. Someone's on landscape, I'm not expecting a highway maintenance guy to automatically know how to line weed whacker. It's like sometimes you do need that cross-training to like learn how to do that, because you can get rented out 40% of the time to another group. We all know that if you raise your hand, right? So I think part of that would probably be something like meta. Like, if you have been here for a year and a half, 2 years, you still haven't gone to meta, you still haven't did Nemo. That's probably part of like the lack where, guys are coming in where we've heard today, like, guys are not getting trained, like, doing the lead, they don't know how to do this thing. Part of that, I think, would probably sending those guys to new hire training, probably not like, a year after they got past their probationary period, like, probably within that 6-month period. But we do know it was the pandemic, but since the pandemic, what is the process? Now that you guys can actually start doing new hire training and sending people to training to get actually trained.
So just to repeat the question, thank you so much for raising that. The question is about training, but more importantly, cross-training, just so that folks, especially as they're being sent to this new hire training, can be utilized across different crews. And so we're wondering what the process is for ensuring that staff have that opportunity.
I'll speak at once now.
Let's take a pen in it.
I guess I'll go. So I can't speak on behalf of the MEDA program or the training program within maintenance itself. But do you know what reverse mentorship is?
No.
Okay. So reverse mentorship is how much I'm going to learn from my new mentee, which I'm learning right now about this need for cross-training and development. And so what I want to share is that this is the type of information that I hope to gain in working with maintenance closer, especially over this next year, because when these are brought to our attention, where there are these needs, these are things that then we can talk about, and I can even take back and talk about with our training partners in maintenance and ask about. So I really appreciate you bringing things up like that. I don't have an answer, but I love that now I have a question to take to a larger group to start to explore that need.
Thank you for raising that. And to fully respond, again, we are flagging questions for the second session, so also stay tuned. Do you have another question?
How you doing, Robert Hope again? My question is this. I'm seeing a lot of my coworkers moving to Stockton, Modesto, Fairfield, far away from their actual yards. And because not being able to afford to stay in the Bay Area. Do you have any plans on implementing any programs to help towards housing, not just renting, but purchasing, investing equity into the employees here where they actually can live where they work? That would be my question.
Too real.
So the question is around the high cost of living, particularly in the Bay Area, and the fact that a lot of staff are forced to move elsewhere, given that it's too expensive to reside here in the Bay. So the question is, are there plans for Caltrans to offer housing assistance or other investments in their staff in order to support folks staying and living where they work?
Carolyn, make that feel better. I know that you're still talking about it, but we're kind of going to make sure that that's structured, because again, the goal is to ensure that we're answering the question in the ethical lens, but also in the lens of transparency. Perfect.
But do you want to take a stab at this question, or at least a layer of the question?
Not really. I think the housing costs in the Bay Area is a very big issue, right? Not only for Caltrans, but for the Bay Area in entirely. And I don't see where there's an opportunity for the union to maybe negotiate the use of properties or anything like that for housing, and I'm not sure if that satisfies the problem, right? There's certain areas where we might be able to develop space property into housing for employees, but not families, not permanent dwellings kind of thing. I just don't know if that is something that could be done. But I know that this is not a big mystery question. We all are aware of the high prices in the Bay Area, and that the issue is that we have employees that travel long distances because they can reside in places like Stockton, Tracy, etc. So I don't know. D4 would probably better know what kind of things they're looking at as far as that goes. So this sounds like a shelving one.
Thank you, Bud. And it's,
Yeah, just follow up. And I heard his response. I'm seeing programs, teachers have programs where there's grants and things like that to help towards down payments on top of first-time home buyer programs. I see other government entities provide that. I believe Caltrans at one point back in the day had a program to help towards purchasing a home, where you don't have to go an hour away to purchase. So we all know the cost of living is high here. We know that we make below the
threshold
meridian income to even be above the poverty line. With that being said, it's not so much how much you make, it is opportunity. And creating opportunity for us is creating equity in us to allow us to flourish here and not have to go away.
One like you.
Yes, sir. Well said.
yeah, thank you for adding that. And it sounds like you wanted to respond to part of that question.
Yeah, it's definitely an important question, and it's not only affecting our maintenance folks, but I know it's affecting so many classifications in district. We have a very difficult time recruiting in district because of the cost of living. We have a very difficult time retaining the new recruits that we get on board. We have been exploring that for some time right now. What can we do to help you be a part of the Bay Area and live in the Bay Area so that at least we can hold on to once you're training in our district. One of the things that is really an issue that we need to grapple with is, you know, a lot of times it's perceived as gift of public funding when you help employees with certain aspects. So we're trying to figure out a way to make it easier for some of our staff that are driving very long distances to get to work. We are working with headquarters right now, and I don't want to get into the details yet because I don't have enough of it. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out a pilot where we can allow our staff that are coming from long distances to stay here for their work week. And then drive home on the weekends, for example. And then this way, you don't have to be a commute every single day. You save a lot of money, you save a lot of wear and tear on your vehicles, and also the time that you're driving back and forth. We are exploring things like safe parking lots. We're exploring things like maybe temporary dormitory type of structures where our staff can come in and spend their weekdays there. It's still in the very early stages, but it's something that we're seriously looking at, especially for district.
Just to add on to that, as a shameless plug, I think about a year ago, we had a survey for all maintenance staff asking about affordable housing and asking questions along this line. Our response rate was very, very low. Somebody with a question. We'll be doing that again after the first of the year. So I understand there's a saturation with surveys, right? I think earlier, like 2 or 3 months ago, we had a statewide survey. Then I think I gave you all a maintenance only survey. But just to know, it's to pick up information like this, what we shared, right? This doesn't happen in a vacuum. We need feedback in order to kind of help point us in the right direction to give folks what they need. As Dina spoke about, we've We have statewide or headquarters support for affordable housing options. There are just so many. So we're in the process of figuring out which ones we can move on quickly, which ones are long-term things, but most importantly, it has to be based on what our needs are. So getting that feedback, like I said, after the first of the year, we're going to hit you with it, and I hope that everyone, take some time to contribute their thoughts on it, like where they are. I can't say what our needs are if I don't hear back from them.
Thank you, Leah and David. Appreciate it. We still have time for more questions here.
Yes, my name is Rondé Taylor from the District 4 Paint Department. And I want to say that I like what we're doing here as far as open-ended questions. But I feel we should have this at least twice a year so that the questions that are being asked, we can check up on it the second time around. And people can see these, it feels like it's a little more politically than being transparent.
Yeah, I want to say something.
Orlando.
Thank you, great question. As mentioned, this will be a continual thing. As I mentioned earlier, the equity program is working closely with Leah, and this is designed exclusively for maintenance. She's the first to kick this off out of one of the deputies exclusively for her division. So this will be an integral part as we move the needle forward with this, and it will happen twice a year. I think we highlighted earlier some of the questions that are being asked, that are multi-layered. The answers will be committed to answers fully from other staff members and executive leaders, because we want to be transparent in answering that question. But also we'll connect the dots and meet in person or virtually again. This is just the first of many, and I can commit to that. So thank you, and thank you for raising it.
Go ahead, Tom.
Thank you. So thank you, one, for inviting me back again. I like coming out here. But really, the question that I want to ask you all, right, because communication is a two-way street, and I've been thinking about this, right, like I notes even. One of the questions I wanted to ask you all, because I'm taking these notes in and thinking about what we can do, what is the best way that I can communicate to you the progress or direction or things that we're doing? How do I get the messaging actually out to you all? That's a question I've always had. What's the best way to get it to you? I don't know if Leah or Dina or the maintenance crew, but how do I get what's going on with you so you feel like you're in the loop?
Well, I think a way, like we have meetings, like when we have like our safety meetings and stuff like that in the beginning of the day, like if we could send out paperwork that we'll read within the group, I think that would be the best way to do that, because I for one definitely never really check my work email, even though it's on my phone. I'm not gonna lie, I never really check it at all unless we have a training that the supervisor is telling us about to go see. I never really check that, so definitely won't get it that way. But if you have some kind of tailgate meeting, and then send paperwork in the tailgate, we'll probably be able to receive your information that way. Definitely.
Okay, I'm getting a lot of head nods, so that's it.
Yeah, great question, Tom, as well. We do have a question from the folks online. Juan, do you want to go ahead and raise that question?
Carolyn, thank you. So Anthony's asking, will there be a PM representative present at the next session? Please and thank you.
Perfect. So for the question is, will there be a union representative at the next session?
Will be now.
Where?
James. Bill?
What do you say? How are you? Bill? Put him on the spot.
Oh, he's quite good. Oh, that's
Good morning. So I started for Caltrans in 1998. I've worked as a senior photographer and I've worked as an audiovisual specialist, so I've always been in bargaining unit 1. So I don't work with you as far as your direct representative. However, I represent 9 bargaining units all across the state of California. I am currently the CEO of SEIU Local 1000. So we have people in 1,000 work sites, 95,000 people from the entire state, every department. And I hear the exact same problems from the bulk of the people I represent as you discuss it here. So what I'd like to share with you from my perspective is a couple of things. One, your direct employer, you work for a department, but your actual employer is the state of California. I'm going to be on my good behavior because this is being recorded and not share with you directly my opinion of our employer as the state of California. There have been some things that have been said in here, though, that are very truthful. So if you want to make a change, your union is your vehicle. What does that mean? That means you have to be a member. It means you have to show up. Complaining to our employer, who can't directly do anything about our situation, is not the solution. The solution is be a union member, get involved with your union, demand, and then get active. So the state as our employer, as a collective whole, monitors membership. They know who's a member and who's not. And the opinion that's been shared with me over the years directly is that if you're not a member, you'll simply take anything they give you. Now, you may not believe that to be true, but that's how it's looked at from the other side. So that's one piece of what I'd like to share with you. I think the next piece is, for too many years, state employees have been left behind in the political world. And our solution is really a political solution. So 20% of the 95,000 people that I represent are in the same condition that you're in. They cannot afford a one-bedroom apartment on the wages that they earn. They're in the same position. I got new numbers last night. I believe 82% of that 20%, which is, for me, is roughly 19,000 people, 80% of them are black and brown. 72% of them are women. Women are only 49% of the workforce, so they're overly represented in the group of people that cannot afford a one-bedroom apartment. So this is a problem throughout the state employment and the state of California. So I would urge you to, you're bargaining unit 3, most of you. You're represented by the operating engineers. 12 operating engineers, right?
Yes.
So I would urge you to lean in on the operating engineers as hard as you possibly can. I would urge you to member up, union up, stick together. I mean, look, Caltrans this year has lost way too many people, way too many of your coworkers out on the roadsides. It's been terrible here. I'm aware of it. I work in the office. So the solution is not to come here and complain, because it's actually not going to help you. Right. The real solution is to go to your union, get involved in politics, whether you like it or not, agree with it or not, get involved with politics, and ask the politicians, why have we been left behind for so many years that we can't afford a one-bedroom apartment? You help the wealthy, you help others, you help your pet projects, but you're not taking care of your own employees. This is a question that I'm currently out asking the political leadership for the 95,000 people I represent. I was doing that on Saturday. So there is no magic words that are going to help us. There is no miracle that can be delivered by any of these people. And I've known Nicholas for years. Nicholas is a great human being. He has no ability to help you. And I honestly did not plan to be up here talking to you about this today, okay? My job is to be over there on the side. But this is the work that I do on a day-to-day basis. I am here, return to work. Normally, I'm off full-time working for the union. The buck stops at my desk at Local 1000. So, I can't talk to you strong enough about this. Your path forward is to get the operating engineers to sit down at the table and work with other unions and to really push back politically. That's the only solution I see forward for my group as well. So with that, let me sit down and be quiet because I probably said too much.
Go ahead. Thank you, Bill. And I think we have time for one more question, and then we'll start to wrap up, I believe. So, all right, go ahead.
My name is James. And I have a question going back to that mentoring program. So how does it work? Do we just reach out to someone? Like say if you wanted to further our skills like IT or something, we just reach out to somebody on the directory and ask them to teach us.
Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
So, sorry, you guys, I'm really hard hearing.
Repeat what he said.
You gotta talk into the mic. The question was about the mentoring program again, and they were wondering how they get paired with someone. Do they just reach out to someone on the directory? How does that process work?
Yeah, so what I'm going to do for everyone here is, one, I just learned, you guys just taught me, right, how to get communication to you the best. So we've been broadcasted via email, right, to the employee email box, but he only checks that once every 6 months. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the information to Leah, okay? And Leah's going to get that information out to you guys. We're going to make sure that strong suggestions, that it gets right to you directly. There is a small survey that you'll want to take that will be in that employee email. You can do it with your mobile device. The reason that it's important for that is, right, that we want to collect what you're wanting, what your needs are, what you're looking for, okay? It's only about 5 questions, but it really helps us to pair you with the right mentor. If for some reason you don't have access to your email or you don't have access to a smartphone, that is fine, okay? I'll go ahead and you guys just, ready? 916-307-1513. I got my phone on silent right now, so don't try. But give me a call, and I will walk you through, and I will take down, or I'll have a member of my team walk you through and take down your responses so we can get you into it, okay? Can you repeat that number?
Yeah, Tom.
What's your number again, Leah? My number is 916-307-1513.
916-307-1513.
No, don't do that. No, 1513. You got me almost. 916-307-1513. Yeah, I hear things going on out there, so I feel like messages are coming through.
Oh, I don't have a question. I was just want to mention about the communication on how do you expect the people in the field to actually get the communication, like well, I'm Denise, by the way. Hello, everyone. So yeah, just the communication between management and even Caltrans or whatever, just how do you expect the people in the field to actually get it? Like maybe, like you said, that is a good way to safety stand downs and, yeah, because a lot of people don't check the emails, don't have access to emails. I'm not even sure who even knew what this meeting was about before they arrived today from not receiving the email. So just to make sure that the communication line is open with everybody so they can know. And like even the mentorship, y'all been talking about the mentorship program for at least 2 months now throughout the email. And for a lot of these people not to know about it is not a good look, basically. And then with the upper mobility and the cross training, that's a lot of things that in maintenance is needed. Even the passing down of knowledge from your peers or your supervisor, just making sure that they have your best interest and making sure that they want to see you doing good and don't feel like you're going to try to take their job away eventually or something like that. So just making sure that the people in leadership are really helping the people that's under them do well and succeed, and not just having to wait for this mentorship program to open up for everybody. Because I mean, we all want to be grow and within Caltrans. That's why we all here. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Denise. So let's take one last question in the back, and then.
What you gotta say? What you gotta say?
This message is for Tom, but I know you said that you were going to come out and go with all the crews on the different areas, see what the hazards and everything that they face. But I work for the paint department. I started in maintenance, worked maintenance many years, and I went to the paint department. Been working there many years. And I work on the busiest bridge in the Bay Area, San Francisco Oakland Bay Bridge. And I'd like for you to come out and see what we do and how we work. We put out a closure every day, every day. Sometimes we have to come all the way over to the Oakland side. And we deal with a lot of hazards. We don't have too much room out there either. But,
Will I fit?
Yeah, you fit.
Okay.
And climb around, see what we do and how we do it, because we've lost a lot of people over the years with experience. Now we have the newer people coming in. It's not too many older people left to show the newer ones what to do. But we deal with a lot of things. We deal with lead, we deal with traffic. It's numerous things. Even when we go with interview for painters for the department, which is very hard to get. When I say hard, I mean hard. I've been on some interview panels, and we get, say, out of 5 people, maybe 1. I know that, we don't compare with outside painters and everything, but it's when they come in for the interview, guy doesn't even have any paint experience, but we have to interview them because they put in the application. And we losing painters, definitely we losing. Golden Gate, we definitely lose painters. And equipment, we need crane trucks, but we have to use and everything. Some of the, I know they eventually get around to getting newer trucks and everything. And we use cone trucks, but we're not like maintenance. We don't have a short truck. We have a long bed truck because we put out a lot of cones. And I just like for you to come out and see what we do and see how we work. Because a lot of, just like maintenance, a lot of people, you have the equipment, but it's broke down, so we have to make do with what we got. And we go, okay, we got this to work. We work it this way. And that's how a lot of maintenance people do. And they don't get the credit for what they do. It's like having to rob Peter to pay Paul. But we do the job, and I think everybody in here with maintenance should give themselves a hand because they do a job that nobody else would do, and we make it work. Regardless, rain, shine, heat, everything. We are there. So that's all I have to say.
Appreciate it.
Well, I would love the opportunity to come out there, so let's exchange some info when we're done here. The things that you said, they ring true. This wasn't my first government job. My first government job was actually in the U.S. military, and what I just heard you there say is something that used to ring loud and clear there was adapt and overcome, right? Because you're always about getting the mission at hand done, and that's truly what maintenance does. Structural steel painters, you're correct. They're a very important part of our organization. Recently, we're getting ready to release a occupational video series. One is to educate everyone in Caltrans about what we do in the organization, right? Because someone might not know what a structural steel painter or what a maintenance worker does or what the work details. The other thing we want to use that for is for recruitment purposes, right? So recently we sent out the Caltrans equipment crew as far as our recording crew, right? And they came out and they actually took footage of steel painting being done and the prep and everything. The reason for that is because as we build out and we work with a lot of our local schools, high schools, colleges, right, the public in general, we want to be able to go out there and show them all that Caltrans has to offer and the opportunities that are there and interest them. So, like I say, I appreciate your offer. I'd love to come out there. It's hard work and it's demanding work, and but we also want to share more about the work you all do with everyone. It's very important to us. So, thank you.
We'll come to a close, but I just wanted to highlight Denise, thank you again for just adding a layer about communication. And just from the lens of equity, access is key to everything. And we want to make sure that this information is getting out. It was interesting, I spoke with our IT person offline about this and just what ways they're working. Because when I think about the Act for maintenance mailbox, not a lot of questions came through that. We're here live, so they're coming forward. But there are going to be other layers, as I mentioned earlier, that you all will be able to connect. As mentioned, the Facebook, sharing it in tailgates and huddles and moving forward. But also, many of us have smartphones. Some of those things will be layered in within a QR code. So I'm going to have Tam kind of speak to that a bit from our IT and how we'll move forward in that work. I think
this is for you. I just want to make sure I got that in so we wouldn't have to come get it.
So just discuss just a little bit of background about what we're doing with the communication, how it's going to contact the words out to the manager or to our executive. And what we suggest was that everyone has cell phones, right? And it just takes a phone in order to bring it up and scan that QR code. You just use your phone, bring up the camera, put it onto the QR code. It'll automatically break that email for you. You can send that email to the mailbox, or it can even give you more information of what you need, like send you like a flyer of what you more information about that. So it works with any devices. It doesn't have to be a state phone. So I know a lot of people don't have state phone, but personal phone does work as well. And we're working very closely to create those QR codes, and it can be broadcast to you.
Thank you, Tam. Carolyn, I'll pass it back to you. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Tam. And sorry, I'm getting a message that one of our panelists online also wanted to add a comment, so we will hold space for that.
And you know,
Oh, hi. Good morning. I thought you were just going to say it. So I just wanted to reach out to everyone since we have such a big group of employees here, and you guys were talking about upward mobility and whatnot. The safety office is hiring safety specialists at this time, so if you're interested in pursuing a career in the safety realm, please reach out to me or check on Cal Careers, talk to your supervisor that can help you. I can send a link to the application and job posting.
Perfect, thank you so much. So as we're wrapping up, I do want to just reiterate some of the next steps for what you all can expect. As we mentioned before, there will be a second session being held early next year. Any questions that weren't answered today, we will have answers provided at that session. it sounds like we will still have, although email perhaps is not preferred, but we will still have the Ask D4 Maintenance email address where you can submit additional questions if anything comes to mind after today's session. And then it sounds like there will also be this survey coming out. So we will make sure we get this information to Leah and get this information to all of you. That being said, I do want to turn it over to Dina to provide some closing remarks before we wrap up here. But I also want to just thank everyone for their questions today and for their full participation. Dina.
Thank you, Carol. Well, thank you very much all for participating today. I think this conversation needs to happen, as mentioned by a few, more often. I think when we all come out here and hear from you, we definitely hear a perspective that is not easily transmitted into the office sometimes. So I appreciate the opportunity to talk to all of you. I took a lot of notes. And Bill talked a little bit about what's outside our control and what we cannot do. But there's a lot of things that we've talked about today here that are within our control. And we would like to take a stab at resolving some of these concerns and issues. I heard some talk about training in particular, so I'll definitely take a note to myself to talk to our maintenance folks in headquarters on the training program and see what is the delay. I want to see, before we adjourn today, just a show of hands. How many of you joined us after 2020 or at the beginning of 2020?
Yeah.
That's a pretty large number.
Yeah, I had that career at Lady College.
Yeah.
Majority of the
Lady
training.
College? Okay, yeah.
I was right after one.
Wow, so some of you have only been here for less than a year.
Oh, you said 2020 or 2022?
How many people have been here for a year or less?
Up here it says 2020.
Okay. 6 months?
I've been here less.
Okay, well, definitely, that speaks volumes because there is a lot of recruitment that has happened in the past couple of years, and we definitely need to catch up on training. But also another thing that Tom raised, and I think it's a very good point, is the communication with you. So definitely, I'll work with Leah on that. What can we do better to make sure that our communications are reaching you? But the mentorship program is a great program. Please utilize that. It's, as Tom mentioned, and he already picked up on that. But yeah, please utilize that program. And I'm just going to make a request of all the senior members of this team. Please reach out, as we look around the room and all the new people that have joined us, please reach out to the new people and see if they need your help. They definitely do. I think one of the things that we need to do for each other in Caltrans, especially with the high rate of attrition as retirement is happening. It's happening on a lot of classifications. We need to help each other. I learned a lot from people around me when I was a junior engineer in junior positions. So please do that for others as well. I also want to reiterate something Leah talked about, really important. We talked about the housing issue in the area and the fact the high cost of living. When that survey goes out, please take the time to fill out the survey. We want to know what you would be open to, what would work best for you. Because it doesn't do us any good to spend a lot of time and resources to try to pilot something that you're not going to be able to use or it's not going to be beneficial to you. So please make sure you make time to take that survey. I also heard some of the concerns about equipment. I'll make sure I talk to our division of equipment as well in between now and our next session. And again, I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to talk to you today and to get your input on all of this. And this is going to be a continuing conversation. Thanks to everyone.
Thank you.
Go ahead, I want to also hold space for Andrea and then afterwards.
Thank you, Dina. Thank you, everyone. Maintenance, give yourself a round of applause. Again, my name is Andrea Pugh. I think I've met most of you. I'm the ex-controller at Good job, sir. I'm an open door. We can just talk. There's a lot of, I want to make sure your voices are heard. addition, it embodies the phrase of equitable communication through listening. Equitable listening is the backbone of leadership from our agency's rank and file to our executive staff. Seeking to understand and hear the voices of those we serve is paramount. The way that an agency communicates fosters inclusion. It isn't just nice to have. It's a necessity. I look forward to the path forward, the next steps. I'll see you guys first quarter.